things as simple as the dissolving of carbon dioxide to reactions as complicated as the replication of the genetic material DNA. Everything you can think of is helped by an enzyme. And enzymes even form structures. Muscle, for example, has enzyme activities. One of the most exciting challenges, I think, in science today is, first of all, to understand how enzymes work, and then to harness the power of enzymes. For example, think of the chemist. The chemist wants to make new drugs. He has various problems to do. He has to sort out which of a pair of optically active forms he wants to react. But an enzyme can do this with ease. One can actually change enzymes using protein engineering and make new enzymes to catalyze new reactions. So it's a question of not just understanding for the sake of it, it's a question that we can understand enzymes and make new enzymes. As far as I'm concerned, protein engineering is the most exciting development that has ever hit enzymology, because it enables one for the first time to change the structures of existing enzymes. And this enables us to do two things. First of all, it enables us to study enzymes by the same methods that chemists have studied chemicals traditionally for many years. And from these experiments, we learn about the properties of enzymes and how to redesign them. And secondly, we then use the knowledge for redesigning enzymes. We can do things which are useful as well as being of academic interest. For example, already I know that an enzyme that goes into soap powder has been modified to make it more efficient. One can see these things being extended almost indefinitely. I think in 15 years' time, chemists will make enzymes to order to catalyze reactions.
As we study enzymes, we appreciate more and more how elegant they are, compared to even the most ingenious machines of human invention. Enzymes have massive catalytic power and precise specificity, the results of many millions of years of evolution. If enzymes are indeed the workhorses of the cell, then they are most certainly thoroughbred ones.
Our conception of science now, towards the end of the 20th century, has changed radically.
We can learn more about how to help people develop their concentration for better performance.
The excitement of actually building it yourself, pressing the button.
Science fiction will eventually be caught up by science fact.
So if they're so clever, what happened before the Big Bang?
Down to Earth with the OU now on BBC Learning Zone. Keywords.
Jurassic. So, you've seen the movie Jurassic Park. But what does Jurassic mean? Well, it's the name given to a certain period of Earth's history. It began around 195 million years ago and lasted for some 60 million years. And if you think that's a long time, you should stop to consider that the Earth is about 4.5 billion years old. The Earth was a very different place then, and Britain was mainly under a warm, shallow sea, full of corals, sea urchins, and strange mollusks called ammonites. The Jurassic was a time when dinosaurs ruled the Earth. Many were carnivores, meat-eaters, and if you consider the size of many species, then perhaps it's no wonder they ruled the Earth. You can find Jurassic rocks in Britain, especially on the Yorkshire or the Dorset coasts. These rocks have fossils in them, mummified creatures, if you like, which lived at that time. They died, fell into the mud, and were then preserved by the forming rocks.
Landfill. A landfill site starts with a huge hole in the ground. Not usually a natural hole though. It's normally there because rock and gravel have been quarried out in past decades. So the natural thing to do afterwards is to fill it in. But with what? Well, why not with our waste? Domestic waste, industrial waste, in fact any kind of waste which can safely be put there. And that's exactly what we do. You could think of landfill sites as enormous dustbins which are being kept out of the way by burying them in the ground. This method of waste disposal, in the new age of ecological awareness, is considered more environmentally friendly than burning it all. Once filled in, the site is landscaped. If you drove past it, you probably wouldn't even know it was there. It looks like just any old green field. Step out of the car though, and now and again you might just catch a pungent smell. That's the landfill gas. Not the buried waste, but the gas which it produces as it breaks down. These days, even that is dealt with, and to stop it building up, it gets burnt off. So, you might see a bright flare in your local green field.
Geyser. Ever heard of Old Faithful? Maybe not. Well, it's a geyser in America. No, not some cool bloke in New York, but a hot fountain of water gushing out of the ground every hour or so in the Yellowstone Park. Hot rocks buried deep in the earth act like a gigantic kettle, boiling up the underground water. The pressure builds up and forces the boiling liquid out through a small hole in the ground. Geysers are so reliable that you can just about set your watch by them. The whole process, from the heating of the water to pressure build-up and the final explosion, all takes time, and it goes on and on as long as there's heat, water, and a hole in the ground. Normally, in areas where you can find geysers, you also get bubbling muds and hot springs. Health fiends often use these muds for face packs and the springs for bathing. There is some method in their apparent madness. The springs and the muds contain lots of dissolved salts and minerals, which are said to be good for you.
For information on all our TV and radio programmes on wildlife and nature across the UK, you can use BBC Alert, a free service from BBC Online. When you register with your favourite subject, you will receive a weekly email giving you the relevant BBC listings. You can find BBC Alert at www.bbc.co.uk/alert.
I'm Wendy Thompson. I live in Milton Keynes. I enjoy all kinds of crafts, particularly Aran knitting. Anything that's difficult and fiddly, I enjoy doing. I don't sleep very well. It's a terrible waste of time just sitting in bed saying, oh, I don't feel well, when you could be learning something really useful and interesting. If you don't use your brain, you lose it. So I watch The Learning Zone. A wealth of new information, all kinds of different topics, different subjects, and it encourages you to go on to other things, and that's the important thing. I watched the literature course. It made literature come alive. I mean, really come alive. Quite by accident, I happened to tune into one of the music programs. Brilliant, because I've never seen syncopation demonstrated as well as that. The Learning Zone is like a chocolate box. There's something in there for everybody. Take your pick.
Get in touch and keep in touch with BBC Learning Zone. And we join the staff at Paisley School in Staffordshire now to see how their enthusiastic IT teachers introduced the advantages of the school's well-developed internal network to the rest of the teaching staff and the whole of the curriculum.
Paisley Catholic High School is in the small town of Cheadle in Staffordshire. It has about 900 pupils. Peter Challoner is their ICT Development Officer.
Here at Paisley, we're very lucky. We've got over 100 computers in the school, most of them dotted around the school, but 3 rooms with about 16 computers in each room. All of the computers are connected by cables. They're all networked. The advantage of having a network is that pupils who want to retrieve the work from previous lessons or previous subjects can actually retrieve the work in their own user area. They don't have to worry about finishing the work that lesson because it'll be there for the next time they need it. This is one of our portable classrooms. It's used for teaching geography and foreign languages.
There are also networked computers all round the school.
We think it's ever so important that all the subject areas have access to the network. As you can hear